What if KINGDRA was in Gen 1 OU? Spoiler alert, it's very, very disappointing. Now, KINGDRA has been requested in the past, and I get why, because he is a water dragon type in a generation where the only move is Dragon Rage. So he has no weaknesses. And for Gen 1, base 95, that's pretty good. So, what could possibly go wrong? Well, it's more so not so that, how do I say this? It's not like KINGDRA is doing anything wrong. It's more so that the meta is just too strong for him. And as a water type, he doesn't really do anything that other Pokemon can't. He's not faster or has the variety of Starmie, no recover. He has, like, the stats to be a good mix attacker, but he only has Double Edge and Hyper Beam. He doesn't hit harder than other water types. He doesn't have, like, Amnesia like Swelbro. And he doesn't even have stuff like Thunderbolt or Sing or Ice Stab like Lapras has. And also, he is a water type that does not resist ice. So what does KINGDRA do? Nothing really. I think we would have learned our lesson from Sableye and Spiritomb. Just because a Pokemon has no weaknesses does not mean it's overpowered. And KINGDRA is a perfect example, where it can hit pretty hard, but it needs to rely on non-stab Blizzard, and worse off, it needs to rely on Hydro Pump, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's Hydro Pump. We all know the rule where Hydro Pump will miss when you needed the, hitting the most. It's just like Focus Miss. It's just how it works. Speaking of KINGDRA's move pool, it's to be desired. It has Agility and Blizzard. Agility, I would imagine you really heavily consider, because, base 85, it's not the worst, but being slower than Jinx really does hurt, and Paralysis kind of is a death sentence, so you kind of do want to just be able to just avoid that. Not to mention, if KINGDRA can outspeed everything, then it does stand a little bit of a chance. So not great, considering the moves it needs to rely on. More so Hydro Pump rather than Blizzard. But it's still like something. And I guess it would be the one thing that could have KINGDRA stand out. But even then, I don't really see just a water type with 95 special being like a super good sweeper. Like what was my last video? Like Sceptile? Sceptile has a lot of problems. He's like weak to Blizzard. And I still feel like him, even without an Agility, would still be a much bigger threat. But it's whatever. But Agility, Blizzard, Double Edge is its most consistent physical move. But considering it does, a 4th recoil, really bad. Especially when having to face a Pokemon like Chansey. Just does not help you. Haze, I imagine, would only be good in, Ubers. Because I know Golbat has a, niche where you can use Haze. But I feel like if KINGDRA was in the game, you would rather use KINGDRA in Ubers instead of Golbat. I know like KINGDRA would be a little bit slower, but also it wouldn't be a poison type that you're using in freaking Gen 1 Ubers. Maybe I'm wrong, you guys let me know what you think. Hydro Pump, it's probably its main attacking move. Unless, like, Blizzard has, like, similar damage ranges for Pokemon like Tauros or Snorlax, but I kinda doubt it. Maybe Ice Beam, you want to be more consistent, but I just don't see it working out. You really wish Return was a thing. And I just don't see Rest working out. Surf, okay, technically you could use Surf instead of, like, Hydro Pump. And I guess you would, like, still, like, Oko Rhydon, which is, like, the only thing your Surf can really, like, super threaten, I would imagine. I think you kind of need Hydro Pump in order to stand up to Tauros and Snorlax. But I could be wrong. We're going to skip Toxic as usual. Now, Bide. Bide is where we get, like, super serious. With Bide, KINGDRA just solos the entire tier. But up to the point where he would obviously get the move banned. So, other than that, you have, like, you know, like, nothing else useful other than, like, Hyper Beam. I guess he does have Mimic. But also, I just don't think getting a turn to get something like... Actually, no, what would you even use Mimic for? You just use it to copy, like, Body Slam, maybe? Maybe you're going up against, like, Swellbro and you copy Amnesia. But even then, like, what do you do afterwards? Nothing. So yeah, just a really poor move pool. Where Blizzard, Hydro Pump, Agility, and one of the two normal moves. Or you can remove Agility and just have Hyper Beam. Doesn't look too good, now does it? That's because it's not really. I might be a little too harsh on it, but I've just done so many of these videos. At this point, I can just kind of tell when something's just underpowered. Now, maybe if... Actually, no. Even if KINGDRA had, like, let's say it had Dragon Dance, it would still only have Double Edge and Hyper Beam as its main attacking moves. And even if Swoop Swim was a thing in the games, Kabutops would be a much better Swoop Swim abuser. Not to mention, Kabutops already has the niche where it can 3-hit KO Tauros with Hydro Pump, except, unlike KINGDRA, it can actually resist normal moves because of its rock typing. So yeah, it's sad. We only have 6 replays, and also, look at the new update they did with the replays. It looks so nice! Like, I don't know if anyone from, like, Small Gun watches my videos, like, but a part of me wants to believe that, like, this change was made just for me. It makes life so much easier, because look how good it looks. Now we can watch KINGDRA, miss Hydro Pump. Like, hope you enjoyed watching that. It's gonna happen a lot. Also, I guess that is one thing to mention. Base 85 speed. At the very least, it's still pretty good with crits. You get a lot of those. And that could help KINGDRA get, like, some good or free KOs. It also means, you know, again, if you use Agility, you do become a much bigger threat. But at the same time, everything else can crit too. Your KINGDRA's not special. Not to mention, like, KINGDRA needs moves like Hydro Pump in order to be dangerous with a crit, which might just miss. So I don't even know what to say. Other than, yikes. Yeah, you just missed another Hydro Pump. And it was pretty sad. So, also I was considering doing another replay with Amnesia Wax, but I feel like it doesn't change. Actually, I forgot that KINGDRA takes Ice Beam neutrally, so it probably would just lose the Amnesia Wax. And then here's Double Edge. It does like a 4th, but Chansey can heal. You can't without rest, and you really just don't scare Chansey at all. Like, okay, you got a crit there, but even if Chansey didn't go for an attacking move, it can just, well, I guess with Agility would have won, but in most cases, you know, Chansey will just have an opportunity to heal, or just switch into something else. So it can just completely wall KINGDRA, and KINGDRA can't really damage Chansey without taking a lot of damage. The same thing with Alakazam, really. Hyper Beam isn't a 1-hit KO, and while Psychic gets a 3-hit KO, like, Alakazam is just faster. It's not like you can just waste a turn on Alakazam to use Agility. So KINGDRA would have to be a late game cleaner, and even then, I just have my doubts on how good it would actually be. But I guess it wouldn't be that much different from other generations. That's how much a critical Blizzard does, by the way, of what we got on the first try. But, yeah, Executor. Maybe Executor fears a little bit because of a critical Blizzard. And it might miss, like, Sweet Powder, but even then, I just don't know what else to say. Like, at the very least, it's definitely an improvement over KINGDRA, but yeah. He is struggling way more than I thought he would. But it's also not like the worst thing in the world ever, I guess. I've definitely seen some Pokemon that would be struggling way more. But I think it's pretty clear KINGDRA would not be OU. And unlike in Generation 2 and in Generation 3, I don't think he would be BL, actually. But first off, let's look at the tier list. And yeah, it's about what you would expect. Maybe you can argue some of these being different, but I feel like the only thing that's consistent is just the Rhydon matchup, and that's literally it. Everything else, I just feel like overall has a favor, or has. Basically, I'm saying most of these I think can beat KINGDRA 1v1, other than like maybe Zapdos, but even then, Zapdos is faster. Now, I do feel like KINGDRA wouldn't be bad and underused. Definitely wouldn't become borderline. However, even in, underuse, there's still so many water types. What does KINGDRA really do differently than most of them? I would imagine having a quad weakness to water, which would be good, that I won't deny that. And maybe agility? But I just don't know. I think KINGDRA would be solid in underuse, but I don't see it being amazing. But I'm not experienced with underuse, so maybe you guys can educate me. How do you think KINGDRA would do in Gen 1? Do you think it would be garbage in OU? Do you think it would have a niche? Do you think it would be borderline? Or do you think it would be, like, good and underused? Or do you think it would not even be able to compete there? I think if it made it a never use, it would probably be like a monster. I don't see it getting that bad. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.